Hello guys, this is Sebastian from the support team. Today we're going to see how to create a blueprint, what are the best practices, and a couple of tips that you should use whenever you're using them. The first step in order to proceed with the blueprints is to go to your inboxes. We need to load the document that we're going to create the blueprint out of. Alright, so here you can just go to the blueprints tab and create a new blueprint. Here is going to request you to upload a document that you are going to use as a blueprint. We're going to take a Domino's order from a couple days ago. Once you're selecting this, the engine is going to analyze the document. This is like an initial extraction. It's going to extract every single character that we're going to see in the blueprint and create fields out of that. This is automatically right now for each one of the documents, so you should see something like this. Once it is done, you're going to see the fields pre-populated. We have a pre-populated blueprint name, document type, fields, and these kind of things. I'm just gonna click OK in this scenario so I can show you guys what happened. We have on the left the image of the order that we created, and on the right we're going to see the values that were created out of that. We can see how the bounding boxes are applied, and if we click on this, we're going to see the details for that particular field. We're going to have a JSON key. This is exactly the JSON key that is going to be included in the output. We're going to have an example value. What type of field is this? Between string, int, floats, dates, list of strings, or parse address. A group, if we want to group them, like for the order items or the payment breakdown, and the description of the field. This is going to be created for each one of the fields that we have here because this is the nature of the feature, that we always have this information for that. We're going to see that some information is already extracted or some is not. We can see that here it missed something. So let's say that I want to create another one, and I'm going to create an item line 2. We're seeing that it already extracted the values. It's going to tell us that it's a string because we have a string here, and we can tell it that this is a line item. You have to tweak each one of the fields because the model does a pretty good job on the first extraction. However, it requires adjustments. This is a tool, it's not the final feature. It's a tool for you in order to create the most accurate blueprints that you can. We're going to see on the right that we have the same information. We have the JSON keys, the example values, the type, and the description. We're going to see as well that we have a document type name and a blueprint name. So I'm going to leave it as it is so we can see it. If you want to, you can also preview the JSON. This is how it would look like with extraction. We're seeing each one of the fields already here with the information and what type value it is for you to consider. Let's continue here. Okay, so we're going to save this blueprint. And you're going to see that it's already created. So we have who created that, what is the blueprint name, what document type it is, and a couple dates there, right? So let's click here in view. This is where you're going to be able to edit it again in order to provide additional information or modify it. So you don't need to just upload the document every single time. So the things that are interesting for the blueprints are the example value and the description. In the model, when we're going to talk about the example and the description, is going to be like an extra information for the model to work with. So something important to understand before we jump into that is that this image that we see on the left, the document itself, is not going to be of any use for the model. The model doesn't recognize this as a document or as an image, but only as characters. It's just the OCR information, and it's going to be passed to the model in a single line. So things like the positional that we could do or indicate to the model, like saying at the top or right next to or at the very bottom of the document, it's not going to be of any use for the model because it's not going to be able to analyze any of that. Instead, it's going to take the information as a single line. So this particular line is going to be right next to this one and this one and this one, just separated by the spaces for the model. Therefore, we are providing extra information. The model needs some guardrails in order to properly work with that. So we have the example and the description. The example is pretty straightforward. The most accurate you can do it, and the less information that you can place there, it's going to be better. For payment reference, it might be a little bit rough because let's say that in this particular scenario, it is a number, but what if there are also the chances that it has letters in it like this and some numbers? If that's the case, you can still add that information here. You can add multiple examples if that's one of your needs, just separating them by commas. Let's click out of here. It is already saved. Now, the description is probably the most powerful one, because the description works as a prompt for the model. It allows you to add extra details or extra information or extra guardrails to the model. So let's say that you don't want just to capture the last 4 digits of the card. You also want to include the asterisks that are at the beginning. If that was the case, you can add that information here. So the information that we have here, last 4 digits of the credit card use, plus the star symbol that are next to it. And then just like that, the model is, I close this. The model is going to have extra information for it for the instruction. Okay. This one is pretty powerful because it allows you to do whatever you would do in the prompt engineering field. If you need to add symbols or contractions or anagrams or any kind of things that is going to make easier the instruction, this is the place to go. Okay. In the scenario that you want to extract multiple things from one place, you can still create a random field like this, let's say, and call it whatever you want to. So we're seeing that it extracts information out of there, right? So let's say that you want something that is called order description with the whole extraction of it. And this is the order summary with total and taxes. Even though it looks like we were over extracting fields, the truth is that the model is just going to think that there is an extra field that is going to be added here at the very bottom. So this is something important because it's going to save you a lot of times in some scenarios, and it's going to prevent you as well from creating multiple blueprints. Keep that in mind. Let's click Save Blueprint. And the only thing that we're missing is how to extract it. So let's go to Documents, let's collect one sample. Let's go to the dominance order. And you have to make sure that you're using the right blueprint. So let's click the one we just created. And once the engine is done, we're going to see the document that we have with the fields that we created within the blueprint. So here we go. Yeah, we have a fraud alert here because I already uploaded that before. And we're going to see the JSON fields. Let's look for the one that I just created, which was the order and details in the description. We're seeing everything. And there it is. So just to summarize, here are important things for you to remember. Whenever you do the first upload, the document is going to be uploaded into our OCR. The OCR is going to extract all the characters from the document before doing any processing, right? Once that is done, this is going to become a single line characters, like as you were reading the whole document in a single line. And then it's going to be passed to the AnyDocs model. The AnyDocs model needs to check the blueprint in order to look for those guardrails or extra information that you provided to it. So it's going to check the example, what type of field it is, and the description is going to be going back to the AnyDocs model so it can create the JSON output. And that's pretty much the workflow. So I'm pretty sure that understanding this is going to be much more easier to create the blueprints in the future. And that will be all. Now you can go ahead, have some fun with the blueprints, create as much as you want, and make a good use of the feature. Bye bye.